a wonderful day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to see you. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to also say hello to everybody on Instagram. My Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance. If you want to follow me on my new Instagram page, as you guys know, I had the real Boyce Watkins, and that page is gone. But it doesn't matter. We have millions of followers on different platforms. So when you speak, when you talk the way I talk, you kind of know at some point somebody's going to get mad and you might get deplatformed, but it's okay because we have a lot of platforms and a lot of places you can follow us. I also have a Telegram page. If you go to Dr. Boyce Telegram, you can follow me on Telegram. Today, I want to talk about college degrees, and I want to ask everybody as you get started and you hit the thumbs up button. How many of you have a college degree? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you have a college degree. If you and feel free to mention where you went to college and all that stuff. As you guys know, for years I was a college professor, still am. I just teach outside the university now because I think that that's a better way to be able to disseminate the kind of information I want to disseminate. I always wanted to teach Black people, and I wanted to teach them in a way that was not constrained. And so my first thought when I was at Syracuse University on the faculty was to teach at an HBCU. And so I applied to a couple of HBCUs. And I remember when I went to Howard, I got interviewed by a Chinese man. And this Chinese man was running the finance department. And I remember, honestly, I thought to myself, why in the world is a man from China deciding if I, as a Black man, am qualified to teach Black people? I didn't understand that. I said, where can I go anywhere in China and find a Black man who is running a Chinese finance department and deciding if Chinese people are qualified to teach other Chinese people? I said, there's no place on earth I could find that. So I didn't really like that. That kind of made me a little bit uncomfortable. And so instead of going to an HBCU and taking a big pay cut and everything else, I decided to create an HBCU, and that's called the Black Business School. And we provide a very low cost, high quality, culturally relevant education in all things economic to people that are interested in learning and growing and gaining skills. We partner with lots of great people like Dr. George C. Frazier, who wrote the book Success Runs in Our Race. He's an icon in the field. He is going to join us starting in the new year for a new class in the Black Business School. So we're bringing the best Black faculty from around the planet. Billionaire Michael Roberts, we've talked to him. He's going to join us in the Black Business School. So we're hiring faculty, but we're hiring people that can really make a difference in your lives. So if you could do me a favor, please hit that thumbs up button. That really helps the algorithm. And let me say hello and good morning really quickly to Buy the Book and El Haj and Elon R and all up in the comments. Rat Queens, my name is Corey. Good to see you. And by the way, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm going to keep this really short. But I wanted to come in and talk to you. You know, I like talking to my people whenever I can. And if you are joining the book club tonight where we're reading Dr. Claude Anderson books, just know I won't be able to make the book club meeting tonight because when I say I'm not well, I really am not well. And the book club it takes a lot of energy. It drains me. And this week I just said I really can't do it. It's going to take a lot because I'm kind of exhausted, probably from the All Black National Convention. That was just a bear of a beast to pull off this year. But a lot of you had a good time, and so thank you for joining us in Atlanta this past week. We'll be in Chicago next year. It's allblacknationalconvention.com if you want to take a look at the convention. So how many of you think college degrees are not what they used to be? Now, give me a guess if you agree that college degrees are just not the wonderful golden ticket that your mama used to think it was or your grandparents thought it was. I think that's definitely true. As you know, I've taught at some different universities, University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, etc. And one thing I can tell you is that when I first started teaching college, I taught my first college class in 1993. So that goes. So I'm an OG in this game now. I've been around for a minute on this. And back at that time, I was very much an advocate of college. I remained a very strong advocate that every Black person should go to college. And I was I thought that way up until about the year 2010. And in fact, when I was at Syracuse in about 2004, my first book I ever wrote was called Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About College, A Professor's Perspective, where I wanted to give you secret insights on what your teachers want, how to make straight A's in college. College was very easy for me because I figured out a system that really worked really well for me. So I wanted to share that with as many people as possible. So the knowledge was right there for, $18 if you wanted it. Unfortunately, you could provide the keys to the universe for $20. And there's some people who will still go out and buy a new pair of shoes or an iPhone and then complain that they don't understand the system. And it's fine. I don't worry about that so much. But I can say that in this book, that was the goal. The goal was just I wanted to lay it all out there because I felt that doing well in college and making straight A's and all that was the way to success, and it worked. When I was in college, I had all the job offers I wanted. I got into every grad school I wanted. I applied to the University of Kentucky Law School just for fun, and the day I applied, within 24 hours, the dean called me personally and offered me a full scholarship for 3 years. She said, "You don't have to pay a penny. We would just love to have you here." So there were perks to having good grades. The problem, though, was that as I kind of went along in the system, I started realizing that college is problematic for a few different reasons. And thank God corporations are starting to realize this. There's an article here in the CNBC where Walmart is basically saying that we don't care if you have a college degree. All we care is that you have the skill. And I understand that completely, because I can tell you, as a business owner myself, I don't really even ask people if they went to college anymore. And the reason is that, I was close enough to the system to understand that having a piece of paper doesn't mean you're more skilled than other people. It doesn't mean you have a better work ethic. It doesn't mean that you are going to bring specific skills to the table that are required to get the job done. And so one of the flaws of college is that it's sort of 4 years of what could sometimes be wasted time. If you look at like, for example, if you go and you research the college experience, there's a lot of stuff that happens in college that ain't got nothing to do with learning a skill. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in college, step shows and parties and hanging out in the dorm and hanging with your friends in the cafeteria, or taking classes that aren't going to really help you do anything specific for anybody. But there was kind of a pedigree attached to it, right? The pedigree was, if I have this piece of paper, I'm better than somebody who doesn't have this piece of paper. And the problem with that is that it's kind of a type of arrogance that really just says it doesn't matter. Even if I can't prove to you that I've learned anything, me having this piece of paper should automatically move me to the front of the line. And I think that there are a lot of business owners who are like, no, it shouldn't, actually, because maybe a person who doesn't have a college degree, because of that insecurity of saying, gosh, I didn't go to college like everybody else, they're going to work harder. They're going to be more determined, more persistent. They're going to learn what needs to be learned. They're going to do what has to be done. And they're not going to sort of sit back and lean on this piece of paper as some sort of false validation that they know more than other people. I'm not saying college is worthless, though. I'm not anti-college. I think college, you can learn a lot. Most of my friends, half of my friends didn't learn anything in college. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Half of my friends just really weren't people that I would hire today as a business owner. I just have to be honest. I remember, in fact, even dating was difficult because I went to the University of Kentucky. It's not Harvard. I'll just say that they didn't have the smartest people around. And even dating, I remember thinking, I want to date a smart woman, and I only wanted to date a Black woman. But I would meet women, who'd have like a 2.5 grade point average, and I remember thinking, I don't want to go marry and have kids with a lazy, unintelligent person. Not to say that 2.5 makes you stupid. You could be smart in other areas, but I would observe your behavior. Like, what kind of partner are you going to be in my life? And I wanted a partner that was going to be a hustler. My wife, I can tell you, I met her when I left University of Kentucky. I went to Indiana University, and she's a professor like me. And I like having my wife in my life because she is such a freaking hard worker that it makes me work hard. She sticks to the task. She understands the assignment. She stays on the job. She's in the gym every day, and that is something that I found. I said, okay, this is cool, because when you got a really kick-ass teammate, you can get a lot more done than if you have some lazy dead weight person where you're dragging them along, trying to get them to do stuff they don't want to do, and I remember in college, it was probably just my bad choice, of course, right there. I'm sure there were smart girls around. I just didn't get to date them. But I remember having to beg my girlfriend to go to the library with me, because she didn't want to study, or she'd study for an hour and then she'd be done. And I'd say, no, we got to study 6 or 7 hours because we got to get ready for this test. And it just, the mindset wasn't there, right? So my point is not to disparage everybody that went to college, because there are plenty of people that go to college that work hard and do a great job. But y'all know as well as I do that y'all got some lazy asses on campus, just like you got lazy people everywhere. You have some people that are in college and don't deserve the extra pedigree that comes with a college degree. I hope that makes sense. So I'm not talking about everybody that went to college. I'm not anti-college. What I am saying, though, is that if you ain't working hard, if you're not learning specific skills, then that piece of paper doesn't mean anything. All right, so let me read this article from Walmart. If you could do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy of the book at drboycebooks.com. It's also on Audible now. There is a workbook that comes with the book if you want to get it at Dr. Boyce Books. Also, there are flashcards if you want to teach your kids these principles. This is my favorite book that I've written. I've written several, but this is my favorite. So feel free to go to drboycebooks.com. Also, if you'd like for me to send you a list of AI stocks that I love and our $5 a day investing plan, just text the word stock to 31996. You guys know my background is in finance, and every week I come up with a list of stocks for my students, so I can send you some profit alerts and things like that. So just text the word stock to 31996. It's totally free. All right, so here's what CNBC says. CNBC says Walmart, with 1.7 million employees in the U.S., is perpetually hiring at its more than 5,200 retail stores, as well as corporate campus in Bentonville, Arkansas. The retail giant is rewriting job descriptions for potentially hundreds of positions as its headquarters stress that a college degree is not necessarily a requirement. Walmart has increased its debt-free degree options, but it is also now working to identify in-demand corporate jobs where skills can be acquired by other means. Now, what they talk about in this article, which you can find right now on CNBC, is that Walmart ain't the only one. These corporations tend to engage in what one of my dissertation committee members, David Hirschleifer, he refers to as a herding effect. Herding is where they tend to all copy each other. They all tend to do the same thing at the same time. Lots of companies are moving in the direction of saying that college degrees are not a requirement to get jobs working for our company. We want skill. We don't necessarily need a degree. If a degree comes with the skill, then we'll accept your degree. The degree becomes a plus. It becomes a bonus. But if the degree comes with no skill, we'd rather have skill with no degree than to have a degree with no skill. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying with that. So Walmart is making this announcement, but as you read through the article, you'll find Target is also doing it. A lot of companies are also drilling deeper into the student loan epidemic. Many of you have been hit by student loans. The Black community has been body slammed by student loans. A large percentage, over half of all Black wealth, goes to universities. It goes to paying and servicing student loans. So universities should not only give college for free, but they should be required to make multi-billion-dollar payments when the reparations conversation comes around. They owe you reparations. The amount of money that they're taking out of your community, enslaving you on the corporate plantation with so much debt that you can't repay it because your family didn't put you out in this world with a lot of resources. That's damn near criminal in the eyes of some. So what they're doing right now is Walmart, they said here that the timing of Walmart's announcement coincides with a trend. Remember, I told you about herding behavior. So a trend, which means the herd is moving in this direction. A trend among many large employers in sectors from tech to autos and consulting, including Google, pay attention now, Google, IBM, Tesla, GM, and Accenture, towards skills-based hiring, skills-based, not degrees-based, skills-based hiring for what are sometimes called new-collar jobs. So they even have a whole new category for skills-based hiring that has nothing to do with whatever piece of paper you have in your on your wall. So they have blue collar, white collar. Now they've got new collar jobs. It also arrives amid greater debate over the value of a college education, long regarded as a prerequisite for landing a corporate job and building a career, and concerns about the debt loads being carried by students. A tight labor market with more emphasis on efforts to diversify workforces and the introduction of generative artificial intelligence into employees' lives are changing approaches to recruiting and retention as well. Quote, "We truly believe that all learning counts." That's their way of saying that you don't need a degree. Stomsky said, I don't know who Stomsky is, in an interview conducted in late October, "We want to look at these jobs and say, what do they really require? Yes, many of them may require a college degree, but a lot of them may not. We're not saying college degrees don't count. They're being careful here. We're saying that if it's an either or scenario for many of our campus jobs. We're saying it's an either or scenario. Okay. I guess either or means that, it's like, do you have the skill or not? And I think that's what they're getting at here. And they said among other major retailers, they've got Target, which is another example. They're using an education platform called Guild to provide access to a debt-free degree. Besides bachelor and associate's degree programs, Live Better U also offers 25 short-term certificates, skills building courses that take less than a year to complete in corporate level fields such as data analytics, cybersecurity, supply chain management, and business economics. In prior years, people would pursue a cybersecurity college degree. Now they can get a cybersecurity certificate in 6 to 9 months. So there's a lot more here in terms of the conversation. Feel free to go to CNBC and read the article. It's called Walmart is at work on a new degree-free message about getting hired at its corporate headquarters. And what it's basically saying is that if you or your kids or your little nephew and them are all thinking about college, I encourage them to think about it from a broader perspective. Now, remember, there is the general conversation in America, and then there's the Black conversation. There's the experience of other Americans, and then there's the Black experience. I believe that the Black experience is different from the other experience. I don't think that that Black people should be doing what everybody else is doing. So one of the things that I've reiterated to you guys is that you have a community that needs to be built. You have a community that needs additional infrastructure. So as I was talking to Dr. George C. Frazier, who wrote the book Success Runs in Our Race, who's going to join us in the Black Business School. He said that Black people are not outnumbered. We are out organized. And what he meant by that point, and I love that point, is that we are not organized in terms of institution building, developing infrastructure, and developing systems. He says systems outlive labor. You want to learn systems. And so one of the models we have in the Black Business School that we talk to our kids about is this what they call the STURDY model, STERDY, STERDY. So we build sturdy children. STURDY stands for systems, technology, entrepreneurship, relationship management, delegation, and then the Y just stands for youth, right? Just to make it a full word. And so effectively, if you are training your kids on how to make money, make sure you train them on how to make money in ways that go beyond the old-fashioned model of getting good grades, going $100,000 in debt, getting a piece of paper, and thinking the world is going to treat you kindly because you have this piece of paper. That is just not the reality. So it's up to you to teach that to them because the system won't teach that. Their school teacher isn't going to show them that. The world isn't going to explain that to them. They're going to learn it the hard way, like a lot of you did. So it's up to you to make sure you explain it to them. Have them watch this video if you want to. That's why we have these conversations. So anyway, that's pretty much it. There's not much else to talk about. I'm gonna get on out of here, guys. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, you can go to BoyceWatkins.com. There's plenty of free resources there. What's up to D1 Music, my man? D1 is changing the world. If you ever think I don't like rappers because I critique hip hop, just understand that there are rappers that I love to the end of time. D1 is right at the top of the list. Akila Honda, Immortal Technique, another great guy that I talked to on the phone for many, many hours. There are so many Killer Mike. There's so many artists out here that are doing the right thing in music. And I want to make it 100% clear that because I critique hip hop, I'm doing it because I love Black people. I'm not doing it because I don't like rappers. And so I think that's important to remember. In fact, I critique hip hop because I love it. And I want you guys to understand that we have to change these narratives. We have to change the type of music that's being injected into our kids. We have to change the messaging about our people because if we don't do that, then you're going to have a consistent environment that is very anti-intellectual, that is very self-destructive, that is very harmful to your families. And then you're going to have these negative consequences. Like just yesterday, I was talking with Madam President about a 13-year-old kid who got killed in a carjacking, and he was trying to carjack somebody, and he was an expert carjacker at the age of 13. And we were really talking about what kind of environment do you have to have a 13-year-old kid who was an expert carjacker at the age of 13, where he could have been an expert at anything. He could have been at MIT doing mathematics. He could have been running a great business. He could have been leading his community. But instead, he became an expert carjacker because one of your biggest problems in your community, in my view, is you have a lot of misapplied genius that should be used for positive things, but it's being used for negative things. And a lot of that's because we haven't taken control of what's happening with our kids. So take control, be in control, be the man, be the woman that your children need you to be so that we can build the community that we deserve. Ain't nobody else going to do it but us. Give me a yes if you agree. Okay, I'm going to get on out of here, guys. This podcast is on Spotify and Apple. So if you look me up on Spotify and Apple, go to Spotify and Apple right now when you get done and look my name up, and you will find me there. It's the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. There's content up there every single day. Also, my new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com, or you can also get, and also at drboycebooks.com, you can get our flashcards for children, our workbooks for kids. We have a lot of great stuff there that will help your family and your kids get ahead on economics.